even if that goes to zero completely, you still have 70% of your account. Right? That's how you grow your account. You don't make 1,000 and put back 1,000. Like
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's never gonna grow.
the risk management right there is just all messed up at that point. You know, and that's where a lot of people go wrong. And it's like sometimes even when I'm in my call ups, I'm like, yo, play small because I know some people will just automatically, oh, I'm buying 100 contracts. It's like, yo, you don't want to do that. You know what I'm saying?
Hold it out.
I have a important thing with you, Tola. I don't know why you be doing this. I have the Slack open next to me. You be like, Facebook, save the expiration for 0.7. I check, it's already 100. One.
Yo, you gotta think of
I'm calls in the chat. You already left the building. It already left. And then now you're gonna put it 5 minutes after it ran off.
Like, you gotta think. I'm seeing it happen. And then I'm like, I got a text, and then some people are like, oh, can you put it out clearly? So I'm like, okay, the date, I gotta put this, I gotta put that, at this, at that. And then by the time I press, send, I'm like, damn, it's already at $1. And I called that.
I'm vexed already. And I'm like, I'm not chasing, even though it only went up 1 cent. I'm not chasing.
Look,
I'm putting exactly what you did.
But this is why in the chat, I'll tell you what I'm watching. I'll give y'all the levels, and if I'm watching this, I'll tell y'all exactly, all right, if this comes to this level, I'm getting this. So y'all know beforehand. So even when I go put it in the chat, you already know what's going on. Sometimes you'll get a lower feel than I will by the time I put it in and try to do that. So it's like, I'm watching this, I'm watching this. You know what I mean? But set y'all alerts. Set y'all alerts.
Or Apple today? Or Tesla?
Tesla, and here's another thing too. You say, oh, Tesla's about to go. Tesla for me would go, but it went right back down like 20 minutes later. Like it hit my support zone. I'm telling you. 20 minutes, okay, I guess it's a long time then, because I'm trying to, if you're saying it now, I'm thinking about to run up. And another thing that I want to talk to you about is, even though I understand a lot of things you're saying, when you talk about your weekly call-outs, when you talk about the spike QQQ and you show them all those numbers, it's just like information overload, and I'm trying to understand everything you're writing, because you'll give us like 30 numbers for SPY. It'll be mad levels, and I'm just like, wait, and I'm trying to see the same thing you're seeing, and I'm like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna have you a whole Zoom on just understanding what you're writing. Like, that's the only thing.
It's the key. It's the key. So I put the key at the top of every watch list.
Yeah, I see it.
Exactly what the numbers are. So all those numbers are, it says upside and down. So that's support numbers and resistance numbers. Those are levels that it can hit, it runs up, or levels that it can hit and possibly down. So if take your profit, either way.
But here's the thing too, and I know if I feel this way, some other people might feel this way too, because you give us a bunch of. Sorry, what happened?
I think I know what you're about to say. Go ahead.
No, because if it's a bunch, you give us like 5 key levels of support. When do I keep averaging down when it keeps going to the next one, the next one, the next one? You know what I mean?
Manage how you manage it. The level manage how you manage. So it's like if you jump into a player, if you trade it with supply and demand, support, resistance, whatever, and it bounces off support and it goes to resistance, and you hit your profit target, get out the trade or put your trail stop on, right? It's like manage how you manage. I'm telling you the levels that it can, if it breaks this level, it can get to this level. If it breaks this level, it can get to that level. Right? So if you hit your profit target at between one of those levels,
but the thing is that I don't think people understand profit targets, right? Like we may look at something and say, okay, we good at with 20%, right? Or 30%, this, that, and the third, but other people, they may look at it and say, damn, I want 100%. This 30% ain't cutting it.
It's me.
I saw Christian get 1,000,000%. I'm trying to get
right.
I don't know. It'd be a $500 stock. I'd be like, it's up $7. Why didn't we give 100%?
Sorry, not to cut you off. I'm so sorry, not to cut you off because they're here. I know people are asking how can they get into the chat. Because my man's at the bottom, they following me. I don't know shit. So I'm like, y'all need to be following the 2 people at the bottom. It's called the Money Princes. It's a Slack group.
His name there. You just click on it.
Yeah, right there. Add him.
That's what we all are.
Not me. I will have the whole life savings.
So basically, right, with the levels that he's given, it's like a support and resistance, right? But if you bind it off the support and it goes to resistance, you should be scaling out or taking profits at that area. If it breaks that area, it's gonna go to the next one. So if it breaks, then you know what I'm saying, then you can stay in the trade, right? But you gotta understand how to read the chart. If you're looking at the chart and you see that the price action starts to slow down as it's coming to that resistance, you should be like, okay, maybe it's time for me to start taking profits because it's slowing down at that area where he said, you know, it's going to hit this level. So you want to start taking profit at that area. But if it's looking strong, maybe you want to stay in because it may break and then pass it and then go to the next level. And
how much time you got.
And now you can stay in the trade a little bit longer.
Right. You just want to manage how you manage.
Simple because you might say that, but then at the same time you say take your motherfucking profits. So
Yeah,
now
because-
you hoping it's gonna.
Do both.
Yeah, because the market it goes up and down all the time, right? Like today, nice pop this morning, right?
Yeah,
A
definitely.
lot of shit dropped right after.
Facts.
But then it went way up.
Up and down. It's up and down. Take your profit, manage how you manage.
In 5 minutes, I was up like, I was in Lulu. I was up like 5 minutes. I was up like 200%. I was like,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
right? And then 2 seconds later, it's like down 100. It's like, oh, I'm out here. I'm out
That's
here.
the CRM did. Within 5 minutes,
Yeah.
it's up 700%. But then it said, shoot, I said, well, damn, let me
Is that what you played today? Is that what you put in the chat? What did you play today?
to ever have. Hold on. The most
Who you asking? You asking?
No,
you
Chrissy.
asking me?
That's what she
Chrissy?
dropped.
Okay.
She dropped in the chat. Yeah. What was that you played today?
Let me say this first. The most important thing is to put your stop losses on. We always talk about we eyeballing something. Your eyeball is not gonna stop it from no.
That's true.
I carry CRM over from yesterday. It was up 700% within like 5 minutes of the market opening. I was like, I'm gonna be greedy. I'm gonna wait because it's only 9:31 or 9:35. I got the whole day to go. That's what he said. Went right to 300. I said, let me take this out because I'm not trying to stick around for that. So while you up, just take your profits and get back in. Not with all your profits, but just jump back in and leave a little something there. But
Leave some running. You always reload for cheaper. That's what I'm telling you.
yeah, you can get if you make it when they come back down to the phone. If you jump in and let's say Apple and them is already up because they follow each other. Apple Spot QQQ. Let's say it's up already $5. I jump in pre-market for people 35 cents, and it fills my order. I try to get like 5 cents above the asking price, and they let me get in, and I'm in and I'm up as soon as the market opened, like if I was in the day before. So that's another.
But not everything pops. How do you know? Like for example, Twitter shot down immediately. At open. So how do you know it's gonna pop? So you could get it in pre-market because if that was the case, if it always popped, everybody would be getting it in pre-market. That's the question.
Right. You got to read the candles, though. Do you know how to read the candles?
I know how to read the candles, but pre-market is all over the place, so I leave that alone. Most of pre-market, no, seriously, it be just shooting everywhere.
If you like I
Say
am,
that again.
because I'm a scalper. I said if you can.
Legend has it.
Did you hear
You're
me?
breaking in and out.
Touched by fire.
Say that whole thing again,
Oh.
please.
The rich, smooth taste.
Did y'all hear me?
Jensen Black
Yeah.
Pearl.
Yeah, I can hear you now. Go
Okay.
ahead.
That's why.
I said if y'all bold enough, to jump in pre-market, that means you already know where it's headed. You already got your charts up. You already see where it's going 4 hours, from now.
Right.
Have patience with SPY and QQQ. I used to always think that I was getting clap. And I really wasn't. I was just selling too soon. So when you playing those, number one, you have to look at Apple for the direction of where SPY and QQQ gonna go. So I always jump into them three together, but you can really jump in just, one, because they're gonna go in the same direction. Just one is normally just very cheaper than the rest. It's normally like QQQ.
Right.
And then they give those percentages. So I'm definitely trying to get in SPY, QQQ, and Apple every morning to build my account. And when I see it do this, when I see it about to do this, I get out. And when it gets to the bottom, about to curve back up, I wait on the third candle. And that's when I jump back in for re-entry. When not all the money, though.
What chart is this that you're looking at?
Buy QQQ Apple.
No, the time frame. What kind of stick? Can a 5 minute, the 10 minute? When you
Yeah.
5, bro.
The 5? Okay.
Yeah. It's always, and then once I'm in, I switch to 5 day. You know, that let me know also if I'm gonna stay for another day. You see it cupping. Normally when you zoom out, you'll see it cupping. I'm like, it gotta complete that. I'm staying another day. So with that technique that I used this week, I said, I'm not selling nothing. And I didn't. And guess what? Things popped. Everything.
That's why we gotta look at the higher time frame and scale down. So I'm saying, why draw y'all levels? You know what I'm saying? That's why I tell y'all, draw y'all levels on the higher time frame and enter on the lower time frame. But you gotta look and see the overall move. So you can trade on 5 minute or whatever, and then have open another grid with a 4 hour daily, so you can see the overall moving direction, right? When you see having higher highs, right, higher lows, you know what I'm saying? When it's coming out of your zone, it's gonna pop. You know what I'm saying? When it's coming out of your level, it's typically gonna pop. When you start to see those long word projections, right, that we talk about, it's typically gonna pop. Same thing. When you see those price targets, those levels that I'm giving in the chat, when you see it come to that area, you start to see it get a little wicky, right? And it's how you manage. Take some off the table, put your trailing stops on. There's so many ways that you can do it, but the most important thing to remember is pay yourself, right? TYMSP. And you can always reload the clip for cheaper. And if you're playing SPY and QQQ, right, another cheat code is, well, I gave y'all everything on Zoom, but have the inverses open, have SQQQ open, and have the VIX open. And chart your support and resistance, and supply and demand, whatever, on the VIX. So you can literally have both open on different sides, right? When SPY is coming up,
TYMPFP means take your motherfucking profits. Go ahead.
Another thing about the VIX too, we were watching, and it showed us something totally different than what the market was going. Like, the market was way up and then things would be down, then the market would be way down and things are up high. You know, the market was acting real strange this week. But everything that we was taught and that we knew, it was tested this week. So,
so we talked about it on the Zoom. Like, we saw, right? We saw that. Remember the psychological levels that we talked about. So last Friday, we saw it come down and it touched 448, 449. But if you look, you can see the long word projection on the 4 hour, the 4 day, the 2 day. You can see it when it came to that psychological level. So, like I said in the Zoom, it's gonna test 457, and if we break above that supply area, then the next level is that weekly supply zone that we hit, 469. That's right. So you can kind of see, once I see them long word projections in my zone, it's game time.
So the question I had also want to ask you is, let's say for example it breaks the supply zone, right? What type of contract are you getting? Are you getting a weekly, one that expires in a month? Which one are you getting? Because I've seen, for example, Tesla broke right through mine, and it stayed a little bit right above the supply zone all the way to close and went back down.
You gotta sign up for their mentorship. That new program that they having.
What's the program?
Definitely need. You need one-on-one with.
Oh yeah. I already told them I'm coming for that. I already told them I'm coming for that.
You know, you definitely have to have a better understanding of how things work, and you're waiting for things to like reach your level. And like I said, the guy that I trade with, he was doing the same thing. A lot of y'all just worry about charting all day. While I was up 7.
Don't do that.
Yeah, I was up 700.
Talk your shit. You're right. You was.
But see, that's your edge.
Earlier, what are you waiting for? You waiting for it to come down so you get put? Or you waiting for it to come to your level so you can ride it up for things?
That's how they've been saying. Am I wrong?
No, that's her edge, right? She found her edge. She knows the work. So we can only give you the perspective of what we know was working, and it's like you fine tune it to you. She can give you what works for her. You take a mix of everybody's stuff and find what works for you. The most important thing is to print your money. You know what I mean? You don't got to be all like, well, Dame said this, and this person said this, and throw yourself off. Nah, if you want to use Webull, use Webull. If you want to use Robinhood, whatever you need to do, you got to be comfortable printing your money, taking your profits. You know what I'm saying? Like, find what works best for you. Right? She got her edge. She's not about to wait. She know when she want to get in. She know when she want to get out. That's the most important thing. Do what works for you.
So like even with me, right? I would see a level and I'll be like, oh, it's definitely going here, right? And I would get in mad low, and I would take my profits at 50%, 60%, 80%, like you know what I'm saying? I'll start scaling out mad early, and it's not because I'm scared, because I just know how the market moves. Like I'm not about to waste this. You know what I'm saying? I got 50%, 40% already. I'm good. Yeah, like I know it may still
lie. I just lie.
It was true.
You was in the chat talking about RBLX up 700%. I'm like, God damn. Now you tell me you only take it out for 40, my guy.
Things late though.
No, he said sometimes.
No, sometimes I was
sometimes he takes it. If he's giving 50,
I've seen triple digit numbers getting heated, and you gonna sit here on this live and tell me you only take out after 30%.
So if I'm seeing something, right, and I'm like, oh, it's moving, right, and I see a long wick, I'm like, oh, I'm out of here. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not about to wait for that long wick and then it drops all the way down for it to pop right back. Wait for that, because sometimes the stock never comes back. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of stocks that drop and they don't come back. And
they ain't come back.
I'm like, yo, damn, like I really should have took that 30%, but now I'm down 50. You know what I'm saying? So it don't make no sense. So I would be in and out. Like I'll be like, okay, I'm taking this, taking my 30%. It's going down, taking my 40%. All right, it's going back up, taking my 50%. I'll take my one. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'll take it like that.
They don't want to hear that 20% stuff, but
I'm not gonna lie.
I'm
lying.
It prints.
I want 500% too, man.
Listen. I'm asking you a question, right?
Okay, go ahead.
What's 20% of $1 million?
That's true. That's facts. But then the risk is also great too. See, when you say that, it's not fair to say that. It's not fair to say that.
I'm asking you. I'm just what's the number?
20%. That's 200,000.
Alright, so if you got a $10 million account, right? You play with 10%. How much is that?
Okay, 100,000.
Nah.
You said $1 million or 10 million?
You got a $10 million account.
Oh, a million. Sorry.
$1 million again. So if you're taking 20%, how much is that?
Say that. I can't hear you breaking up. Say that again.
$10 million account.
Yes.
10%, you playing with 10% of that account, and you get 20%. How much is that?
That's $2 million.
It's 200,000.
You said 20 million or 10 million.
$10 million account, and you're using 10% of that account, and you're gonna take 20%.
It's $1 million. 10% of a million is 10 million is $1 million.
Scratch that. Long story short.
I don't know, I'm confused. I'm not hearing you right.
20% of $1 million is 200,000, right? So you want to get when you're playing with bigger numbers, you're playing with numbers, period, right? Be okay with 20%, because if you're not okay with, I'm not saying shoot for 20%, but I'm saying sometimes you got to be okay with it, because when you get a 7-figure account, right? Again, you're like, I'm waiting for 100. Your risk is way greater. If you can't take 20% now, you're not taking 20%. You're not taking 20%.
Hello?
You can't hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Say
that again. Sorry.
I'm about to repeat it. Yo.
I didn't hear. I'm not. Oh, goodness. Hold on. Go ahead. Whatever.
I'm gonna say respectfully in a minute. No, he said respectfully, you're mad. They
You got Boost Mobile?
He got the Boost Mobile pop.
You got Boost Mobile Wi-Fi? Boost Mobile Wi-Fi? Can you hear me now? Good. Hello?
Yo.
I can hear you.
Fuck out of here. Y'all ain't.
I got crickets.
Truth of the matter, bro, 20%, right? When you're playing hard, it's a lot of money to be making in a day.
It is because at the end of the week you have 100% of your account.
If you take 20% every day, you be, like she just said, you be making 100%, which is a lot of money, right? The regular gain is what, 8.8% in a year or something like that, right? If you make it 100% in a year, in a week, you mad at that?
And every day is not gonna be 20%. We just using that,
Right, and every day isn't 20%, right? You got days where it's like today, right? I called out Microsoft. I called it out at, I think 77 or 90, I don't know, like 77 cents or $77. It went to 520, right? So that's what, 400%, like 500%. So you still can't. You didn't see that, huh? So and
I didn't get in there. I didn't get in there.
All right, I called Apple. Apple went for 24 cents to like $2. $2.50. That's I'm saying $24 to $250. That's how much percent is that, Dame? I know you're the mathematician.
No, we ain't gonna.
Nah. You answer that. You put me on the spot. It's your turn now. What is that?
I don't care for percentages. I don't know. But I know that was like what, 1,000% almost. 500%.
Okay, that's not even the point. Yeah, but you're right though.
Right. So, these plays, it's just a matter of just taking your profit. I know the greed will really set in, right? And that's really what's gonna get you clapped. If you're like, damn.
And you have, the more you want to stay in longer.
Right. If you stay in a play for 5 minutes, right? Like sometimes I try to stay in a play for 5 minutes, so that's 5 candles on a 1 minute chart, right? So it's like, all right, boom, I got in 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes. All right, if that joint not going up, or if it's not looking like how I want it to look, sometimes I'm out. I'm like, I'm out of here.
Wow.
Because, yeah, I'm not. Why would I want to? It's risk management.
Gotta be the edge.
And that's not with everything, but sometimes it's like, yo, all right, it's looking a little funky over here. I'm not risking this.
It's looking wacky. You gotta take your profit.
Yeah.
Always reload.
And then
always reload the clip.
That 5 minutes, you could easily get 100% in 5 minutes. Easily.
That's what I said. CRM. I was added to the position. No, it was DocuSign. I was added to the position, and they let me in for like yesterday's price. But then when it went through, and the volatility in the morning is so high, so within that 5 minutes, I was up like 1,000% on DocuSign. And it's up, especially between 9. If you about to get in at 9:30, by 9:45, if you jumped in at 9:30, 9:45 you can be out of there. Take your profit.
Daryl, Daryl, get a cash account. You have unlimited trading with settled funds. I don't know if he was on a live last week with Chrissy. She said she uses Webull. You can keep reloading as much as you want on Webull. So a cash account eliminates the pattern day trade.
But you are Robinhood?
I'm not sure what broker she's using, but I can't scroll through the comments. So he's mentioning something about the 25K in 5 days. You don't need 25K if you have a cash account.
Right.
So gotta call them up.
So E-Trade, Webull, and TD Ameritrade, Thinkorswim, they all have cash accounts. So you just call them up.
And, my bio, the link to the I gotta plug my shit in. The link to the Webull is there, and you get 6 free stocks. I'm a spokeswoman.
Yo, so you gotta plug your shit in too. You gotta get some revenge. You have revenge.
I may use your link because I think I'm gonna open up a play account on Webull.
I already got Webull, so.
I love it. They have the new IPOs, before they come out. They let you get it, and they show you like a whole list of them. They have the one that's a pre-market. They show you the percentages. So that's why I find my things that I see something up like 20%. I'm like, why is this up? And it's like number one, on the chain. I'm like, I click on it, and then boom, Benzinga. They have news. Most of the things that be up pre-market is biopharmaceutical companies. Those ones, they be penny stocks most of the time, and they be below like $2. But the first strike you're gonna get, sometimes it be 50 cents if it's under $1. But then the first one you're gonna get is they're monthly. The biopharmaceutical, they're all monthlies, and they be like $2.50. So today, this week I saw ANTX, something like that. It was trying to rally like 3 days in a row, but they kept shorting it. But I got it for 10 cents. Within minutes it went to 30. So imagine you have like a small account or medium. Like say you have $1,000 and you want to throw like 5 or 8 on it. That fast, it went from seconds. Because it was going up. It went from 10.
This is so taking your profits.
Huh?
Like this.
You gotta be OD fast doing that.
Not only that, but I bought at the beginning of the week, but you have till the 17th, so you can stay in there and it could go. I think it hit like 350. When I got in, it was just approaching like $2 the other day, so I could have stayed in the whole time. I think it went to like 70 cents at one point today. So you do have to take profits. You don't have to stay in the whole time. A lot of people think they have to hold it the full time. No, when you see the purpose of you buying further out is so that your data don't eat your contract and you make more. Let's say you bought today and you buy out for January. Your percentages will hit faster than if you bought weekly. You understand?
Yeah. Also, just like, you know, I know a lot of people, like, when they're trading the options, they're like, okay, you called 11:20 on Tesla today, or 10. I think I called 10:20 or 11:20. I forgot. But they're like, yo, it's not gonna hit the strike price, or I don't think it's gonna hit the strike price. It don't need to hit the strike price, right? But to print. And I think a lot of people, like, that's trading on Robinhood, you know, it gives that illusion, like, okay, strike price or break even price, and it's like, okay, it don't need to hit this certain price for it to print, right? It don't need to hit 10:20 for it to print. Hit 100%, 80%, 1,000, like, you know what I'm saying? It don't have to hit that exact price. So, you know, just take your profit when you see it, right? It don't, like, whether it's 20%, 30%, 40%, 1,000%, 1,000,000%, it don't matter, right? Don't wait for it to hit a strike price. That's like crazy, right? Because imagine I called Apple 180 or something like that, or 170 today, and, you know, it's running up crazy, and people like, oh, but it didn't hit 170 yet, so I'm not gonna take profit, but I'm up 100%. Like, that's not how this game works. You got 100%.
And then you lost your profit.
Right, because if it goes down, now you gotta be mad. So start taking your profit. You know what I'm saying? Don't wait until it gets in the money. It's not a necessity.
So the question I have for
start trading sideways. When it starts to trade sideways, it's gonna do that for about 2 hours, 3 hours.
Right.
Come back, you know, it'll do that from like 10, 11 o'clock to, like, you know, almost power hour. So people done gave up in that time. So I trade them, and I know I don't get fat now because I'm not. If they happen to take my profit, I'm stopped. I said I'm not selling.
So you only telling us. Yo, you always sound like you're winning too. That's funny.
No, but you know, you're not always gonna win, right?
Of course not.
You could definitely manage your risk. Yeah. Losing a lot, right? Like,
trading every week either. You might want to switch up because something might not be sufficient for you one week. The following week, you might want to do something else. Like, one week you might want to do calls. 1 week you might want to put your foot in puts. You know, people are scared to death of puts.
Yeah. Like I said the other time, like, you gotta look at the market as an opportunity. It shouldn't be like, oh my God, calls or puts. Like, it's just an opportunity, right, to print money. Whether it's going up or if it's going down, like, you shouldn't be, you know, have an emotional attachment to calls, right? I mean, it looks good, right? It's like, oh my God, it's green. It looks good. It looks appealing, right? And then when you see the red, it's like, ew, I don't go there, right? But it don't matter, right? Whether it's dropping or if it's going up.
Y'all better put
in. Like, all right, well, SPY's going down, puts, right? Like, you gotta trade very bougie. You gotta trade like a little kid, right? A little kid ain't gonna eat some shit that they don't like. They're not touching that. They're like, I'm touching that, right? So if the setup don't look good to you, don't touch it, right? But if it's like, all right, this is clearly going up, right? You got good news, right? You got good earnings. It's a great company, right? Whatever. The setup is looking nice. Take that trade up. But if they say, oh, you know, the CEO is touching little girls, you better buy some puts, right? Like,
you talking about the guy from PlayStation? Sony. Yeah,
Sony, right? So you better buy puts because it's gonna go down. That's bad press for the company. Yeah, of course. But you get what I'm saying? If it's bad news or, you know, whatever. Assess the chart. If it looks like it's going down, buy some puts, right? Like,
they really be waiting for, and I do it all week. They really wait for it to come down because they're there. Oh no, Apple got to come down one of these days. I said, Why y'all waiting for it to come down? It went up $3 this week.
Right. Apple was
Do that whole year.
I told them that though. I've been calling it out for weeks, and I've been telling them, yo, Apple got a different bop to it. I said, look, this ain't the same one for 150.
Right.
This is
Right.
going to improve.
Different.
So my question, another question is, I know, like, you know, I know you, Chrissy, you get contracts like close to the money or in the money, right?
Yeah.
So like Tola just said, he had a contract that wasn't even, it was a little bit further out from the money. What made you decide to do that instead of like, if you know it's gonna go up, why not just get in the money or right at the money or like one tick below it?
Oh. You get cheaper premiums down there.
But you could make more money though if you had the in the money option. I'm assuming, right? Or was that contract gonna give bigger gains compared to like in the money? It's just a question. I'm not.
Nah. Let me just stop you in your tracks, right? Let's say that the delta on the 150 call is 0.90, right? So every dollar that it moves, you're gonna get paid $90, right? So let's say the one on the 155 call is 0.30, right? The one on the 0.91 costs $3. The 155 call costs let's say it costs 50 cents, right? You could buy mad 50 cent ones and have a higher delta, right? So you're gonna get paid more per dollar move.
Okay, so it's your delta. Got you.
Right? So, but it all depends, right? You don't want to get it has to make sense
to have high open interest, volume, all of that.
High open interest, volume. Has the stock ever hit that price before? Is this a hard resistance, right? Because at one point, I was not trading Apple over 150. I was buying 155 calls, 160 calls because it never broke above that. It was not like breaking. So why would I trade a 155? You understand? Unless like a leap. You get what I'm saying? So it had to make sense. And at a point, it didn't make sense to get 155, 160, 170. So until it broke that and it breached that, so it's like, okay, now we can start playing a little bit higher, right? Because now it's going to go to 175, it's going to go to 180, 185, 195, 200, if it reaches that, right? But it has to break those psychological levels.
What you think held it down the whole year? It would not move. I was like, all right, man. That and Pfizer.
Question? I mean, part of it was seasonality. Another part was, I think it's just like, it could be just the market cap of those things, right? This is so like, it's a high market cap, right? Right now, the Apple's coming to get like towards 3.3 trillion or something like that. Like,
yeah. They said it only had to go up $3 more for them to reach 3 trillion.
Yeah, so it's like, maybe it's just, you know, I don't know. I really don't know.
So a lot of people was waiting like, oh, it went up. They expected, see, the normal Apple, Inspire, QQQ, it'll be up for one day, and then the next day they take it right back. So you wasn't even able to swing these things. But now, they went up like damn near a whole week. Even though some days it traded sideways, if you stayed in those all week, you were banking, you know?
That's not even... Yes.
A lot of people sit there and wait for puts. They were waiting for puts, and it never came back down. I said... Again, I'm upset. Why y'all waiting for puts? Like the market was not showing that, huh?
Nah, I said I was confused too. People like, go down. It's like
watching the charts.
This thing is going up.
A lot of y'all chart experts and stuff like that. Y'all watching it, and I'm like, you'll be sitting on your hands a lot of days if you think that it's gonna always go your way.
Right. So how do you? So my question is, how do you chart like a stock like Apple when it reaches a new high? So you're telling me you're gonna jump in right when it reaches a new high?
A lot of people don't even trade the ceiling.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not gonna.
A lot of people don't trade the ceiling because once it reaches that, it always boom.
So nobody. So you guys don't trade the ceiling. Once it hits that the new high, you guys are out.
Right, so, well, for me, I don't, once something is at an all-time high, if I'm not already in that position,
right,
scaling up, it doesn't make sense to get in because simply, like you said, you're at a psychological number now, a psychological level, so it's just a matter of time before there's like, there's a pullback of some sort. Now, it could happen that same day, it could happen the day after, it could happen whatever, but now,
it keeps resistance and bouncing off it. It's gonna keep coming, burning your contract. So you wait to reach the above that level, and then you can hop in. But most of the times, a lot of people is already in those trades. So you know, they'll see it reach a level, then they'll reach that resistance. It'll keep bouncing up and down. You know it's gonna go up, so you just have to have patience with it to break through that level. You know.
So when you guys, so for example,
so after it hits a new high, I'm waiting for that baseline. Now it has an area. Now it has memory.
Yes.
Right. So when it breaks, you have an area of value now. You have a new area. So now when it comes back down, now it's like, okay, let's suppose SPY, for example, right? So it hit 470, 473 point something. Came down. So now we know that, okay, we have new levels and zones that were created. So now if it starts to reject here, I know that I can possibly get a 471, 472, 473 call because it's been there before. That price has never, right? So I know, again, it's going to come down, retest. I can get something that has hit before. I'm not going to get a 480 or whatever until, right, it goes there, like total down, unless it's a leap or something, you know what I mean, where I can add to a position. But I'm not getting a price.
Some people jump in while it's basing also.
Right. So basically, what I was going to say is, you know, also like my billionaire brother just said, muscle memory, right? The stocks has muscle memory, right? So that area where it was once a resistance, if it breaks it, it should act as a support, is what he's basically trying to say, right? So this ceiling, you're trying to break that ceiling, right? You finally break it. If it comes back here, right, to that price where it couldn't break, that should now be a support. If it doesn't hold that, right, and it starts to go down, I don't want to be in the trade. Right? So I want to see it come here and start to like wick off. I want to see those long wicks. And then I want to see it start to make its way back up. For us.
Yo, go have your baby.
And then another one I want to ask. So like Chrissy, shout out to you because you just put us on some game, especially with
my man getting some OD 101 treatment, bro. I see you.
Yo, I'm milking it.
Yeah, the nice.
Unless you want me to shut up.
They'll get all this information. Go do the same shit they've been doing Monday.
Yo, like we say, it's 80% psychological, right? So some people will hear all of this shit and be doing the same shit they was doing before.
So what I was saying is,
the comment is off.
The comment is off, I think, because nobody has said anything
Is it?
in the past like
hold on.
15 minutes.
Any questions, y'all?
That's why I was getting in because I already realized.
Can y'all type something so we can know that
I
the thing? No, somebody said something about fibs just now.
No, if you're, I'm still on the Latin emoji.
I can see the comments. Yeah, it's on. I can see the comments. It probably just, it's your Wi-Fi. Get off that shit. You missing
I don't see
plays and
I don't see
everything.
no comments. I don't see no comments either.
Maybe that's why I be
Listen,
missing.
y'all got
Plays,
y'all
yeah.
Listen, I don't know what that. We need somebody else to go live with. Your time is up.
Yeah, your time is up.
You don't got your mentorship, your membership.
I'm gonna sleep like a baby tonight. A lot of my
And
questions.
you still gonna do what you've been doing Monday.
Don't do that to me.
Don't put that in there.
Don't do that to me.
Be
Don't do
better.
that
Be
to me.
better, King.
So what I did is
I'm gonna be better.
So what I did is I did the psychological part. They have the group, they have the thing or whatever. So when people come to me and ask, you know, what's your thing, how you go about it or whatever, I teach people those, you know, the psychological part because a lot of people they just keep making the same mistakes. Jumping
Let me get out of here.
in and out, throwing their whole town.
Now,
Listen, let me get out of here so you can ask somebody else. Thank you guys. I appreciate you.
I don't know if anybody else want to join. Do anybody else want to join?
Anybody else want to? I stay on this bitch. Talking about.
another thing,
Stop doing that.
another thing though, Peter, like let's say, you know, it's coming up to that new high, right? Some people will sell once it hits that resistance and leave a runner, right? You want to leave a runner because you just don't know what's gonna happen.
Because you're greedy.
Right? You know, but that runner, that's how people be getting them 1,000%, 3,000%, because they're like, all right, I left my runner. I already made 100% as it was
That's what I
going
was telling him.
up.
If he's not sure where it's going,
Yeah, like, all right,
Get
well,
one.
it breaks, and I'm good. If it pulls back, right, whatever, it's a runner, it's free money, right? So, you know, Dame teaches this all the time, bro. Like, you know, so it's like, all right, boom, I got my runner, I'm good. Like, I'm letting it fly. Like, until expiration, or until I feel like, all right, it's pulling back too much. Let me just take my profit or something like that. So you should also look into doing that. You know what I'm saying? Buying multiple contracts. You know, even if you're not playing with too much money, right? If you could just buy 2, 4, right? Like 5, whatever is comfortable for you, right? And then once you get 100%, cut off half, leave a runner, right? Because you don't know what's gonna happen, and then that's how you're gonna really see those huge percent gains.
It says Webull allows pre-market orders on everything or just SPY and QQQ. So at 8:30 a.m. Eastern time, they allow you to start putting your pre-orders. Let me take the next question. Y'all can go ahead. I'm just taking the question.
Got a Q&A going on.
So, like, Chrissy put me onto the game about the options flow. So I was going to ask, is there any other type of, tools out there that could let you know, let's say, for example, we could see where institutional, like, retailers have set their limits. Like, maybe they're waiting for something to go down, and then I'll just take
you looking for the dark pool?
Is that what it's called? I don't even know what it's called. I've been trying to find something.
They're called dark pool orders, and no matter where you get them from, they're going to come in the same way. So you can purchase them. But just Google it. That's the only one I know. I see it come across my screen because it's an app. They got a free version, and then they got the paid version, where you're gonna see the dark. They'll give you to like 102 million. I mean, like 1 million, 2 million. But then when you buy the full version, then they'll start selling you $20 million orders and stuff like that. They'll have some stuff shaded in so that you can't see that. You just assume that they're buying or calls. So you just go, oh, I'm going to go buy calls. They don't give you the date. They don't give you nothing. So if you buy it, I think it's like $20 a year or something like that. They'll show you the dark pools, and then you can choose to get in what you want. But a lot of times you use those things and they hedging.
Right. So you got to make sure that you're doing your own due diligence.
Yeah.
Anyway, right?
Everybody looking for a cheat code. Those things. Yeah. When you see those large orders coming in, they could be hedging their account, They could be in puts and they getting clapped. So they go buy a shitload of calls to, even it out, start making back their profit. So just don't assume that they just buying all that because it's heading in a certain direction. No, a lot of times they just hedging. They hedge funds. You learn something new every day. I surprise the fuck out of myself.
Every day. Learning.
What is the new podcast?
Yeah, we just dropped it.
Just dropped one this morning.
You just dropped it. Chrissy, we want you on, though, for real.
You gotta come on.
No, I'm living it.
Podcast, let the people know.
You think I can have me on one time and you've been throwing me away? No, I'm coming.
Nah, I'm not going to throw you away. But,
I'm coming every day.
So I'm invisible? Say less.
Most of the people in here is from our group anyway.
We're going to have you on the Zoom. Soka, bro. Don't worry, man. It's
God.
Okay, let's take some questions. How do you find a place that run up over 100%? I'm completely new to stocks. We don't know that they're going to run that way. You really don't know until you get inside.
Right. But we kind of
due diligence.
So if you look at
those ones that be running up like 1,000%, you knew that I'm gonna do that?
Nah. But we just talking about
100. Well, she's using that as it goes way over 100. You get, like he said, you can get that in 5 minutes of the market opening, but you got to take your profits right away because those things only go up like that because so many people is buying in, and then you have the people that held overnight that's selling their things. So when you see it going like this and basing, they're trying to decide on the price.
Right. The buyers and sellers are trying to decide on the price. But how do you find it? Honestly, real quick, I would try to wait at least 15 minutes before even taking a trade in the morning. Right. I know a lot of people, they're like anxious to get in the market and anxious to put their money somewhere, and that is the quickest way to get clapped, right? Because the market really don't really have any true direction, right? So why don't you wait 15 minutes, right? Wait, that's 5-minute candles, right? At that point, it should have a direction as to where it wants to go, right? So now you can take your trade and you're like, all right, boom, I'm going this way with it.
And then you get it for cheaper.
And you get it for cheaper because most of the time it done dropped, right? And then it popped. So just wait. Oh, you start to actually see the wick forming, right? So you want to wait for those things. But how do we find 100% plays, right? We're looking for things that, one, has volume, right? Two, it has, it's a good company. What's the catalyst, right? So if it's news, if it's, earnings possibly coming up, right? Or even after earnings. I know Chrissy's good at, catching things after earnings, right? And then also, okay, in the supply or demand zone, or a support area, right? It could be support, supply and demand, or support and resistance, right? And then also just looking at the candles, reading the candles, seeing where it's dropped from, and seeing where it possibly go next.
And the average too.
Yeah, and
you want to look at the 5-day average, because if you see where it came from, then you'll see where it's going. You want to look at all those things of how the price action and the price movement with that particular stock. Most of us, we stick. I think SPY QQQ Apple is our comfort zone. We know those charts like the back of our hand. We know that if it drops, it's going to come back up. We know once it starts basing, get back in after lunch or whatever. Pick 5 good stocks. You chart them. You put your levels on it, and you can literally trade those every single day. One thing about the market is going to go up or it's going to go down. You can trade anything.
Or sideways.
And we don't like that at all.
If it going sideways, but when it do that, you just have to have patience. That's why I say go. If you're you're not gonna watch it, and you're not gonna be a day trader, go 2 weeks out. Give yourself some time, to build up to that. But
time is the best thing, honestly. Time is really the best friend in the market, right? I know I call out like a lot of weekly plays because that's just how I trade. I'm just like in and out. But for the most part, if you have time hands, right? If the market is moving sideways, right? And it's moving sideways throughout the whole day, 8 hours of sideways action, you're gonna be like, damn, like this is crazy. But if you have time on your hands, like it don't even matter what it does, right? If you have time, that like what I mean by time is 2022 contracts, 2023 contracts, 2024 contracts. Like you have so much time on your hands, it don't even matter what happens in this week or month, because whatever happens right now, it could even cover next month. Next week.
I
got a question.
The mic in your hand, bro.
What you say?
Mom there got the mic in his hand.
Hey,
I
didn't even notice that.
Like,
I got a question for everybody inside this room. And y'all can write your comments down below. Do y'all know what style trader y'all are?
What is your trading identity? Drop that below. We can't see the comments. Totally, you can see the comments?
I'm on my iPad. That's why I'm looking to the side, so I'm looking at these comments over here.
I can't see
your
it.
comment?
I still can't see shit.
Yeah, they laughing at me.
If y'all come out, I'll add y'all back in. Maybe y'all can see it then. Yeah. Leave, add me back, and then I'm gonna add y'all back so I can see the comments.
Yo,
Scalper. So
Wait, who, me?
a lot of times people give call outs.
a fumble trader, I'm dead.
No.
I'm a loser.
Facts.
I'm a bad owner.
But I do the most money I've ever made with these. That's the most money I've ever made. Yeah. But I'm trying to do everything. Because leads, you just have to know the fundamentals, and you just like the fundamentals and where they're heading, and you're good. But it's a slow cooker, like you say.
How long
Like when I got my AMD, it was not moving. Within a span of, I would say half a year, it was not moving. It went. I was actually at a loss for like negative 15%, whatever. And then within like a month, every day, it was boom, boom. I couldn't believe it. I went to cry. I was like, yo, this is crazy.
So how long do you hold your contracts? Like you traded this week?
I definitely traded this week. We not even gonna talk about. I got clapped. God damn.
Did you put your stop loss on for 20%?
I definitely did, and I'm not gonna lie. And I know you guys say not to do this, which is the psychological part too. A couple of my trades, I put it a little bit lower than that because there's been times in the past where it went down to like 40%. I was in the rest of 40%, and it jumped all the way back to like 70%. So I'm like, okay, maybe I should leave it at that. And then after that, I was just getting clapped. Once it passed 20, now it's 60, 70, 80. I'm like, Jesus, this joint's worth $2. Like,
I think most of the time that we get clapped is our own fault. Because most of the time we stand in too long.
I feel you.
Always take your profit
Yeah.
on whatever's left and redeploy that.
And if you see it going the wrong way, you can always sell. Don't stand there to get clapped more.
Right. Sell it, or if it starts to change, you can reload the clip for cheaper. So like you said, if you was down 20%, and you would have took that 20%, and then when it dropped to 40, and you're like, all right, it's starting to change. You could have got it for cheaper, and then instead of being up 70%, right, so that extra 20, you would have been up 90 to 100%.
Yeah.
So that extra 20%, right? So don't be afraid to clip the losers quick and load the clip for cheaper.
See, my thing is, one thing I'm really trying to get better at is like what Chrissy does. I'm really trying to get a good deal. That's the type of trade I want to get, a good deal to like, this is a good deal.
Sell. You got to buy on the red days you want to sell.
Huh?
You got to buy on the red days you want to sell.
Yeah, so like, when you get those, like, I want a deal, but what is a deal? When you think about it, I've seen it run down crazy.
A deal is, let's say Tesla was down for a while, so it wasn't doing what it did like a week or two ago. Let's say it dropped 50 or 60 points in its red. That would be your sell. That would be probably the cheapest that you're gonna get, unless you do Lotto Friday, you know.
Right, Lotto Fridays you're gonna get the best deals because it's cheap. But you gotta understand how Lotto Fridays actually move, right? You gotta play high volatility stocks. You can't just play anything, right? You don't want to play, I don't know, Bank of America or something like that.
That's not gonna move, yeah.
But, right? Yeah, you don't want to play no Walmart. You want to play something like Amazon, right? Tesla.
You know, say you want a Lotto ticket.
Even Apple was moving like mighty slow today, right? Like it was printing at the end of the day, but it was like
everybody don't know about it. It's private.
Yeah, the candlesticks were so small. Like, yeah, it was like, yo, what is going on? So you got to look at these candles, right? If the candle's like something small like that, you don't want to touch that. But if it's moving like big candles, like, okay, this has some volume, right? It's looking voluptuous. I want to get in here. I want to, it's good. Right.
So when you say volatility, right? Because so you would say if it goes up and down 10% in a day for the past week, it's 10% move up and down. That's a lot, right? Like something like that.
Right, but just, you know, I want to see a stock that's moving. I don't want to see a stock that's going like this.
Yeah, the Lotto plays, we want to see like $60 move. Because you're getting out of the money, you know, so you want it to move.
Right. Because you buy contracts, you said in the money or close to the money?
I buy my contracts close to the money. Like, let's say, yeah, right below the money. Yeah.
What about like Tesla that's really expensive? You would buy there? Or you buy
I did that today. And I made a little bit of profit. I knew I was gonna, as soon as it went down even a little bit, I'm out. I made a little money today off that, but overall, I still like the week I got clapped.
That's so printing. Like me and Dame called that out back to back, and that's
you know he got it late.
No, but that went like 100%.
Wi-Fi didn't allow me.
Plus,
y'all gonna stop talking about my Wi-Fi.
He know he didn't get in at the right time.
Y'all gonna respect my Wi-Fi.
You got that.
No, I didn't. I got it as soon as he mentioned it, but as soon as it ran up even a little bit, it barely ran up too. It probably ran up like 10%. I was out. I didn't care.
Nah, Tesla's we called out with a 200 change.
Yeah,
like 250%.
I didn't care. I was like,
the ones that y'all called
I was
out?
like,
yeah. My joint, I called out the 1020. That almost worked. And when I called out was a little bit cheaper than 1030, but that
I was in a 1030. The 1030's been close to 1,000% if you would have, because I sold the first pot, then I got back in.
What time was this?
That's when I called it out.
like
When it hit 9, when it was trading around 9.
at the money? I mean, or a little like right below the off the money.
Nah, this was out the money.
A question came in. Are y'all trading futures at all? We trade the grand children. So, for those who don't know, for the futures, the SPX, we trade SPY. You know, that's the grandson. So you got to buy 10 of those C's equal one contract of the SPX. So we'll be making around the same thing, but we just got to buy 10 more.
Yeah,
10 to 1.
Yes, and all that other stuff. Now we're not trading that.
So it's people inside the group that does experts on SPX, but a lot of people don't have those kind of accounts to afford $4,000 plays and things like that. You can get stuff cheap and out of the money, but you'll have to go so far out of the money, and you have to know those charts. So if you don't, you better stick with SPY and get this 10 more.
Yeah, SPX. I mean, if you like new to trading or you're not really too seasoned, I wouldn't even trade that, right? Because you could lose money so fast.
Yeah, just do ETFs.
Yeah, you better off just
ETFs. They run the same way, but they so much cheaper. Like I said, they 10 to 1. So
the fact.
You get one SPX and you'll pay like $2,000 for it. No, you get 10 SPY. You know, it'll probably be the same money. But you'll get, I don't know. I think you'll get way more. I haven't traded it, but I know that they go in 24 hours. So that's something that I want to learn also. But you get clap faster on that too, because instead of doing dollar move, they dropping hundreds and going up hundreds, at a time. So it's like you have to know those charts.
Different.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask you guys, do you guys use any scanners to find any stock or any opportunities?
What you mean by scanner?
Like, huh?
What you mean by scanner?
He want
Like
tools.
scan
He
like
want
any
tools. He
stock.
want all the free stuff.
I never said this before, but I'm gonna say this for the first time on live. Listen close. The scanner that I use.
He's about to say something crazy live.
You ready? That's it. That's it. I use thing 1 and thing 2. I literally go through my watch list every day. In the morning, at night, when we be on the chat and everything too, I'm going through the watch list. I'm setting my alerts. I'm looking for. I'm always scanning for new money on opportunities. I want to have that personal touch. Right? You can use a scanner that tells you to pop this, but you ain't charting what's good. I want to know. I want to have an intimate.
Because you don't want to be up 8:30 trying to find trades or trying to chart something.
Right.
Do that overnight, so it'll already be there. Your levels is already there.
Exactly. Yeah. Yo, it's a lot of. I'm telling you, I said this before, but go through the S&P 500, go through the Nasdaq, go to Russell. You're gonna find there's so many opportunities that you can find in all of these indexes.
I just found something new from somebody today, Satsu. I said I never even heard of that.
Yeah, I heard of that.
Huh?
What is that? I heard of that before. SOXL?
SOXL, that's the ETF for the semiconductors. So all this time we was trading AMD, NVIDIA, all the other stuff, they have an ETF for it. So
yeah, SMH.
There's a lot of remember we was doing that scan a minute ago. So I went through. I found a bunch of different ETFs. Some of them they're expensive. Some of them they a little bit less expensive. Some of them don't move like right. I think it was another good one. There's a gaming ETF. I got Hero. You got Hack. HACK. You got Cloud. You got TAN. There's so many different ETFs that you can play, but it just depends on how they move.
It's a lot of them too.
They got some new EV ones too. Well, it's not a little kind of new, like DRIV, IDRV, those EV ones. Well, you know what I'm saying. So the people that's like into Tesla and all those things.
Do y'all have a squeeze list? Somebody was asking for a squeeze list earlier.
I need a squeeze list.
TTM squeeze list?
No, it's a somebody actually posted it in the TMP one time. It's a you can Google it. It's a squeeze list and it tells you the ones up on the chopping block. They'll have like the top 5 that's 100% squeezable.
Oh, I think I put that in the chat
Yeah.
a couple different times.
You might want to look at those ones because they're looking to pop any minute.
High short interest. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I could drop it in there again. A high short interest list, but I don't have like no squeeze.
I found out like the ones that give those thousands of percent stuff is those biopharmaceutical companies. So you might want to get the FDA approval list also, so you can get into these stocks before it hit. You know, you want to be in the night before it does it. You don't want to do it and then be chasing it when it's up 100% on Repo.
I'm gonna leave and rejoin.
I'm gonna one question for Dick. Oh, he left. I was gonna ask him, or even you two told out. When are y'all gonna be asking, even in the live Zoom? Like, when are y'all gonna give us a live trading day on the Zoom? When's that gonna happen, my brother?
Oh, somebody asked me that too. Like, when are y'all gonna get a Discord? Because they want to do it.
They told out.
Oh,
he came back right in time.
Now?
Here's $1 billion question. By Tellah's reaction, I'm gonna think it's a dub. So when are y'all gonna give it? Because a couple of people asked, including me. Y'all ever gonna do like a live trading day on a Zoom? He's smiling. He's like, hell no.
I'm actually,
Stay tuned.
yeah, I'm actually up for it though. You know, we've been speaking about it. So yeah.
We possibly might have something planned before the end of the year. Possibly, maybe. Stay tuned.
What he asked for? I was reading the comments.
If they're gonna do a possible live training day, like do a Zoom link and then like at open show, like, you know, how he gets in and out and whatnot. Because I know you're a busy guy and you do most of your work from the phone or the, you know. So one day, hopefully, you can just bless us with that Christmas gift.
You don't have a Discord, do you? James?
You said what?
Do you have a Discord?
Slack is like the same thing almost.
Nah, I'm only.
I don't think Slack has that record thing where he could like live share his.
No, we would just jump on a Zoom.
Yeah.
We may invite.
But how does that work though?
It would have to be on a Friday. Just jump on a Zoom. Just tap in.
No, they're talking about live. You were
Like a
talking
live
about
Zoom
like
in the
live
morning.
trading, like him enter into a trade.
Yeah, like, or showing us like at like let's say 5 minutes before market opens, we do a live Zoom and he'll show what he's looking at and he might jump into something. We're not gonna like, you don't have to because we're on live, obviously.
Yeah, no, I'll show. What I'll do is I'll show the screen and whatever else, and it's like y'all can see what I see.
Yeah, but how are they buying? How are they trying to buy stuff and then look at your screen at the same
It'll
time?
be just one day.
So we'll
It'll
just be
one
talking.
people. Yeah, it's just for the people who are not trying to trade that day who just want to watch, or people who haven't really, you know, started yet.
We can I guess
And they
we
can follow with
figure
paper
out,
trading too.
Right. Just like we can pull up.
He said invite him to the Slack group.
It's in our bio, so
Yeah,
we
yeah.
have to tap in.
Right.
Yeah, but not quite with me.
Nah, not the weekend quiet. Okay.
Yeah, I want to see the Matrix. It ain't fun in the Matrix. So yeah, I think it could be a Zoom. We could just share the screen, and then y'all gonna hear our voices, how we really sound during the trading day. Like
Crying.
crazy. Nah, we be sounding
That's a nice
crazy, like
Christmas gift right there. Nice Christmas gift.
cursing and whatnot. I'll be on the phone, like if I'm in the airport or whatever. I'll be on the phone with Tola Friday. You know, we do live trading together.
Okay.
Oh, it's like real.
Yo, I told you.
I told you. I didn't believe it's running, we out. And it's like, it's live and
Do
exciting.
y'all ever get clapped?
I wouldn't say clap. I'm like, sometimes I let something go 30%, and I'm like the Tesla. I'm